Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next we come to the kitab Anwaar-us-Salaah. There are three kitabs that we do. One is we do the Fazail of Salah in Fazail Amal, where a person he gets the desire to perform Salah, to lead a proper Salah. And the second is where we discuss the various Masail of Salah. This year we're doing the Fatawa Mahmudiyah of the Mufti Mahmud Sahib Rahmatullah alayh, various Masail of Salah. And the third is this kitab Anwaar-us-Salaah of Hazrat Shah Ahmad Shaheed Rahmatullah alayh. And this kitab is discussed that although a person might know the Masail of Salah, the outward form of Salah, then a person has to bring ruh and life into his Salah. And it is only a Salah that has ruh in it, that has life in it, that is a Salah that will connect a person to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This is a very, very valuable weapon that we have got, or valuable tool rather, that we have got of Salah. And if a person uses this tool properly, his whole Islah can be made just on Salah. But if we have this valuable tool, but we don't use it correctly, then we're not going to get the required benefit of that Salah. Like a person, he's got an aeroplane, and he travels quite a bit. So if he doesn't know how to fly the aeroplane, he cannot take benefit from it. He still has to go with his car 1,000 kilometers. It will take him 8 hours, 10 hours to reach his destination. But if he knows how to use that aeroplane, he can pilot that plane, then in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, he can reach his destination. So just like that Salah, if we use it properly, if a person performs it properly with concentration, devotion, with life in our Salah, he will reach Allah Ta'ala in no time. His Islah will be made, he can become the beloved of Allah Ta'ala. So here the Shah Ahmad Shaheed Rahmatullah alayh, in the first chapter, he explained the reality of Salah, and he said that this is such a great ibadat of Allah Ta'ala, that in Salah is the ibadat of every creation. Every creation of Allah Ta'ala is in Salah. For example, if you look at the trees and the buildings, they are all in the standing posture. And they will remain in the standing posture forever, until Allah Ta'ala wills, until the day of Qiyamah. The trees, the buildings, they will be in the standing posture. The animals that are there, the four-legged animals, etc., they in the ruku posture. The insects that are on the ground, they in the sajda posture. The mountains and the earth, they in the qada, they in the sitting posture. The stars, the heavens, they always moving. So this is our movement in Salah. And the Malaika, they make the tasbih of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Those that are making tasbih from the beginning, they will till Qiyamah they will make tasbih. Those that are reading Kalima Shahadat from the beginning, till Qiyamah they will read Kalima Shahadat. Those that are in Tilawat of Quran, they will continue in that. So the Malaika, they in the tasbih of Allah Ta'ala, Kalima Shahadat, Tilawat of the Quran, Dua. And this human being, this insan, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has given him all the ibadat of all the makhluqat, of all the creation in his 2 rakats of Salah. You got the standing posture also, you got the ruku also, you got the sajda also, you got the qada also, you got the movement also. All this is found in your Salah. So this is one aspect of Salah. The second aspect that Hazrat has written, he says that in the Salah that we perform, in there is all the fundamentals of deen. In your Salah that you perform, there is zakat in there. How is there zakat in your Salah? You get the reward of zakat in this way, that when you perform Salah, you need to make wudu. And the water that you get, the water is not free of charge. You're going to pay for the water. So for spending money, buying the water and making wudu, whether it is at home, we're paying for the water. Whether it's in the masjid, we're paying for the water, wherever it is. So for that, a person, he gets the reward of zakat. In Salah, a person, he requires clothing. And the satar has to be covered. So when the satar is covered, to wear the proper, appropriate clothing, a person has to spend money. So he gets the reward of zakat. Further he says, we stopped at this point. Aur rukh hona taraf Kaaba ke hajj hai. He says, in Salah, you get the reward of hajj. That to face in the direction of Kaaba Sharif. This is like performing hajj. When a person goes for hajj, he has to go all the way to Makkatul Mukarramah. So in Salah, you're facing in the direction of Kaaba Sharif. Takbir-e-tahrima bajai ihram ke. Now when you go for hajj, you need to put on ihram. And then only you can perform hajj. It's a requisite of hajj. So just like that, when a person starts his Salah, he has to say Allahu Akbar. If you don't say Allahu Akbar, you haven't started your Salah. You haven't entered in Salah. So this takbir-e-tahrima that you're saying, this is like ihram, putting on ihram now. Aur muh taraf qibla ke karna bajai tawaf ke. And to face towards the qibla, that is like a person when he's gone for hajj, now he has to make tawaf of Baytullah. Aur khara hona bajai wukuf arafat ke. And when a person stands, qiyam posture is fard in Salah. So the standing posture is like Arafat. When you go to Arafat, you make wukuf, a person stands, he faces the Qibla, and he makes dua. And that is Hajj, that Al-Hajju Arafah. A person, he did all the rituals of Hajj, but he missed out Arafah. What happens? Hajj is not done. You have to come back again. That's why a person that is sick, they put him in the ambulance, or even in the helicopter. On the day of Arafah, even if he's unconscious, just fly him through, past Arafah. For even one moment he's there, finished. Al-Hajju Arafah, your Hajj has been done. So standing in Salah is like you're standing in Arafat. Or Ruku or Sujood or Rak'ate, Manin Dorne, Darmiyan, Safa, Marwa ke. And he says your Ruku, you in Ruku, then you come up, then you go into Sajda, and all the rakats that you are reading. He says this is like a person that's running in that Ruku, Sajda, you moving from one posture to the next posture. That is like running between Safa and Marwa. You're running Safa to Marwa, Marwa to Safa. 7 rounds a person has to complete. Like that 4 rakats you have to complete, 2 rakats you have to complete, whatever you're performing. Or Mawquf Karna Acha. So here the aspect of Hajj is found. In Salah the aspect of Zakat is found. Or Mawquf Karna Khana Pina Bajay Roze ke hai. And he says that to stop your eating and drinking before you started your Salah out of the month of Ramadan, permissible to eat, permissible for a person to drink. The moment you say Allahu Akbar, now if you're going to take a sip of water, what happens? Salah is invalid. Now you ate anything, Salah is invalid. So you cannot eat whilst you're in Salah. So this is like Som. So you're getting the reward of fasting when you're in Salah. Isliye Som ban karna nafs ka hai. What is fasting? Fasting is to restrain the nafs, to hold back the nafs. That what you want, you cannot have that. So now you cannot eat, you cannot drink when you're in Salah. Or ban karne se nafs ke ek saat bhi iski khaish se ek surat som ki ho jati. He says to restrain the nafs, not to give the nafs what it wants. Even for one moment, that is termed as som. That is one type of fasting. Although it's not a complete fast like how we fast in Ramadan, but that is also one type of fasting. Balke banisbat roze ke ek taur se zyada ban karna hai. He says leave roza. In comparison to fasting, when you're performing Salah, this is restraining the soul, restraining yourself to a much greater extent. In Roza, you only cannot eat and drink and have relations with your wife. But when you're in Salah, you're restraining yourself to a greater extent. How? Is waste ke tawajjuh zahiri or batini taraf ghair ke karna nahi chahe. Because when you started your Salah, now even your thoughts, you need to control your thoughts. In Salah, your mind cannot go anywhere else. You can't be thinking of your business. You can't be thinking about your kitabs and your studies. You can't be thinking of some meeting that you got. So you got to control your thoughts also. So batini also, internally also, your thoughts cannot go anywhere else. And externally also, everything has to be controlled in a proper way. A person has to perform his Salah. So in a way, if you look at it, in Salah, a person is doing roza, but to a greater extent than the fast of the month of Ramadan. Or dafa karna shaitan ka, or mashaqqat mein dalna nafs ka, iski sunnaton ke awqat mein namaz, is waste jihad hai. So we already covered zakat, we covered hajj, we covered fasting. Now he comes to the fourth aspect. He says in your salah is jihad also. That in salah shaitan comes with his wasawis, he comes with his thoughts. So you repel the thoughts of shaitan. And secondly, you put yourself in difficulty that you make sure that you perform your salah in the sunnah time. If a person, he delays the time, namaz time went out, and now he made it qada. So now a person is going to be responsible for this. A person, Allah Ta'ala save us, a person will be punished in the court of Allah. Except a person makes the qada, he makes tawbah, Allah Ta'ala can forgive everyone. So a person to read his namaz in the proper time, in the sunnah time, that at this particular time is the sunnah time and I must perform my salah, this is jihad. A person gets the reward of jihad. Lekin namaz mein dil ki huzuri, dil ki shart hai. So see, so many ibadat you get. But he says that for the heart to be present in salah, that you must be conscious that I'm in salah. He says this is the shart of salah. This is the condition that when you're performing salah, you must be conscious. Your heart must be there in salah. That is the salah of life, when the heart of a person is there. Badun iske namaz puri nahi likhi jati. If the heart is not there, you're reading salah. A person comes to the masjid, he read salah. Or he started nafil salah, he read 20 rakats of nafil salah, 40 rakats of nafil salah. Or whole night he read nafil salah. But the heart was not there. A person, he won't get the full reward of salah. We're making so much of effort. A person has to leave his home. He has to come out. And he's using his petrol, he's using his car if he is driving. If he's walking, he has to walk, whether it's Fajr time, early part of the morning, late part at night, he comes to the masjid. Then he has to perform salah cold. Sometimes it's extremely hot during the day. All the sacrifice. And a person came to the masjid, but the heart wasn't in salah, and he went back. So he went back empty, or he went back with very little reward. Whereas if he came back and his heart was present, he was in salah, then imagine what reward a person will go with. Like what Hazrat writes over here, he says that a person, when the heart is not present, then he doesn't get the full reward of salah. Balke kabhi adi, sometimes 50% reward you get. According to how much concentration you got, sometimes 50%. Kabhi tihai, sometimes you only get 1/3, 33% reward a person is getting. Kabhi chotai, sometimes a quarter, 25% reward. Ya panchwa hissa, sometimes 1/5. Ya chatta, ya satwa, ya atwa, ya nawa, ya daswa, sometimes it is 1/6. Sometimes it is 1/7, sometimes it is 1/8, 1/9, sometimes it is 1/10. Meaning so little reward a person gets. Why? Because a person, he does not concentrate in his salah. And sometimes a person comes, no concentration, he just starts his salah. Allahu Akbar, reads quickly, ruku, sajda, finishes namaz and gone. That salah actually curses a person and says, Dayya'ak Allah kama dayya'tani. It could have taken us to Allah Ta'ala. Our work would have been done, our islah would have been done. Salah will stop a person from wrong that he has got in his life. All that will come out of the life of a person. But we didn't do it properly. So Salah says, may Allah Ta'ala destroy you as you have destroyed me. Allah Ta'ala says, Quran says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. We explain this. That woe, destruction to the people that are reading namaz. Quran, Allah is cursing. Allah is saying destruction. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. They are mindful of their salah. They come, they just read salah and they're gone. So it's not a matter of just doing our duty. But this is, Allah Ta'ala has given us a means to connect to Allah Ta'ala. Like when we'll read later on, we'll see how valuable the salah is. इसी वास्ते है कि हर रुकन नमाज में इतना ठहरे कि कोई लहजा हुजूरी मुयस्सर हो. He says for this reason it is necessary that in every posture of salah that stop for that amount of time, that a person can think of Allah Ta'ala, that his heart can be present in the salah. In every posture of salah, think of Allah Ta'ala at least once. In every posture, in the standing posture, at least person should think of Allah Ta'ala. When he goes into ruku, at least once. In sajda, at least once. In the qada posture, at least once. Every posture, at least for one moment, a person should think of Allah Ta'ala. Or huzuri kai tarah par hai. Now, the heart being present and thinking of Allah Ta'ala, this can be done in various ways. The first way, ek ye ke mazmoon har rukan ka khayal kare. That in every rukan, in every posture of salah, just think of the subject matter what I'm reading. For example, in the qiyam posture, you're reading Surah Fatiha. Now just think of the meaning of Surah Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. All praise is due to Allah. Allah is the Rabb of the whole universe. Ar-Rahman, He is most beneficent. Ar-Rahim, Allah Ta'ala is most merciful. So when a person thinks of the subject matter, when he goes into ruku, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, pure is my Rabb, who is most great. Allah is most great. Allah is pure from all faults. He just thinks about that. Just for one moment. So this is regarded as the heart being present, a person is concentrating in salah. So that's one. और आपको सामने अपने रब के जाने और इसको मुतवज्जी हाल अपने का समझे. And think that I am standing in front of Allah Ta'ala and Allah Ta'ala's full attention is on me. As long as a musalli, he has commenced his salah and his mind doesn't move away from his salah, his concentration on Allah Ta'ala, Allah's full focus on him. Allah's full attention is on that musalli. But the moment your mind diverts and your mind moves away, now that attention of Allah Ta'ala is going to move away. So think that I am standing in front of Allah Ta'ala and Allah Ta'ala is watching me. Now a person is going to concentrate. We gave the example like the boss. We said that when a boss is in the shop and the person that is working, when the boss is there, he's going to work. And if the boss says, I'm gone, 1 week holiday, now there's no boss in the shop. Now everyone is relaxing. Why? Because boss is not there. But when the boss is there, everyone shows that he's working. Sulaiman (as-Salam), when he was building Baytul Muqaddas, all the jinnat were under him, under Sulaiman (as-Salam). But when Sulaiman (as-Salam) passed away, Allah Ta'ala made it such that Sulaiman (as-Salam) was still standing there. And he's holding his asa. So the jinnat, they didn't even know Sulaiman (as-Salam) passed away. And they carried on working. But when the time came, when the termites, they were eating the stick of Sulaiman (as-Salam) from the bottom. So time came where Baytul Muqaddas was complete. When it was complete, فَلَمَّا خَرَّ, when he fell, Sulaiman (as-Salam) fell. Oh, Sulaiman (as-Salam) so long, he had passed away. Had we known, مَا لَبِثُوا فِي الْعَذَابِ الْمُهِينِ, we wouldn't have remained in this humiliated punishment. We have stopped working long ago. So see, when the boss is there, everyone works. So now when you are conscious, I'm in front of Allah. Allah is watching me. Now you do your work properly. When the sheikh is there, now you're sitting next to him and making wudu. Now see how you make wudu. Because why? The sheikh is watching how I'm making wudu. You standing and reading namaz next to your sheikh. Now you say, no, let me perform a proper namaz. Why? My sheikh must say, I'm also reading a proper namaz. We must read for Allah Ta'ala. But insan, how our mind thinks. They don't want to read properly. My ustad is watching, I must read properly. So when Allah Ta'ala is watching, then how much more better namaz shouldn't we be reading? So he says that isku mutawajjih hal apne ka samjhe. Or joon si surat pare, mazmoon usi surat ka khayal kare. And whichever surat of the Quran Sharif that a person recites, then just think of the subject matter of that Quran Sharif. Quran Sharif, Allah is talking to us. Allah is talking to us. Father is talking to his son, and the son can't be bothered. So what will happen? What will be the condition of the father? Allah is talking to us, we reading Quran Sharif, and we are not interested. So at that time, try and think that this is the meaning. This is what Allah Ta'ala is saying to me. Agar maqam itab aur ghussa kahe, khof kare aur panah chahe, and if a person comes across those verses of the Quran where Allah Ta'ala is reprimanding, Allah Ta'ala is angry, a person should fear at that time. And a person should seek refuge, seek protection from Allah. Allah, you protect me, Allah. Protect me. When you read about how Allah Ta'ala destroyed the people of Ad, how Allah Ta'ala destroyed the people of Samud, how Allah Ta'ala destroyed the people of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam. Just overnight, within seconds, some people, one cloud came and they thought, oh, there's no rain, there's rain coming. And their fire came out, the entire locality was destroyed. Some people were uprooted from the ground. And what ni'mat Allah Ta'ala gave them. At that time, a person should fear. A person should fear and say, Allah, you protect us. What the previous people, that is what Quran is there for. That you read the stories of the people, and now inna fi dhalika la'ibra. There is a lesson for us to take. So take lesson from there. Allah, you save us also. Or jo maqam rahmat or inayat ka hai, isko khuda se talab kare. And this is obviously in our nafil namaz. When you're behind the imam, you're not going to recite at that time. But at that time, a person when he's behind the imam, many a time this is when our minds wander about. So at that time, we shouldn't recite verbally, but in our mind, understand it correctly, not verbally, only in the mind, not just for Hanafis. Shafis, they recite this Surah Fatiha. So in our mind, a person should just make tasawwur, just think of the meaning of Surah Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise is due to Allah, who is the Rabb of the universe. Think of that, just contemplate it in the mind. So where in the nafil namaz, these are the things a person should think, ask Allah Ta'ala to protect us. Where it's a place of rahmat and Allah Ta'ala bestowing His favors, what Allah will give the people of Jannah, what bounties Allah Ta'ala will bless them with. Isko khuda se talab kare. Now ask Allah Ta'ala, Allah grant me also those bounties. Or siwa iske aur bhi baatein, but there are other things also Hazrat writes, or de waste khas ke hai, na waste aam ke. He says these things that I'm mentioning about thinking of the meaning, this is for khawas, the ulama, because the ulama, they know the meaning. But not for the normal man who doesn't know the meaning of the Quran Sharif. But for the normal person, he should even just focus. Whatever I'm reading, think of whatever you're reading. You're reading Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Just think of the words. And in this way a person should perform his salah. And for normally in our namaz, we read normally the last 10 surahs. Person normally reads last 10 surahs, or we have our special surahs that we choose and we read those surahs, selected surahs. So those selected surahs that are there, try to learn the meaning of those selected surahs. And if a person learns the meaning of those selected surahs and he reads it with the meaning, then see the effect in the salah of a person. There's a world of a difference. Or huzuri baghair ta'asir ek dil ke muyassar nahi. And he says, for the heart to be in salah, this won't happen if the heart is not affected. That's why over there Hazrat Sufi Iqbal, he said that for the heart to be affected, for the heart to become soft, you have to do a course of zikrullah. And that zikrullah also under the guidance of a Shaykh Kamil. You have to stay under a Shaykh Kamil for 40 days, do zikr, then the heart will be affected. When the heart is affected, when the islah of the heart is made, because that after faraz, most important is islah of the heart. And when the islah of the heart is made, now when a person comes into salah, now the heart will be present in salah. So he says that baghair ta'asir dil ke muyassar nahi. Without the heart being affected, you won't get these things. Or ta'asir dil ke bidun. And without the heart being affected, danis se ma'ani alfaz ke hasil nahi. You won't know the meanings of the words of the Quran Sharif. When the heart is affected, now you're going to think of the meaning of the Quran Sharif and you'll get the enjoyment of salah. इसी वास्ते जो कुछ नमाज में है, माना इसके हिंदी जुबान में मुहावरा के मुवाफिक लिखे हैं. He says for this reason that whatever you read in salah, for example we read at-tahiyyat, we read Durood Ibrahim, we read the dua and then Allahumma inni talamtu. He said all this I have written, Hazrat Shah Ahmad Shaheed rahmatullahi alayhi, he said I've written all this in the Hindi language because this was written for the people there. So he says according to the Hindi language I have written it because you people understand this language, you perform salah. So I've written all this. It's coming later on where all the translations are written in the Hindi language. अक्सर गरीब लोग जो इन मानों से मुतलक बेखबर है, समझ के हुजूर दिल से नमाज गुजारे और बहुत सी हलावत पाए. He says many people that they generally don't know the meaning of the surahs, they don't know the meaning of what is at-tahiyyat, they don't know the meaning of Durood Ibrahim, they don't know the meaning of the dua in the end, they don't know the meaning of the tasbihat, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Ala. I have written all these meanings for you so that a person can now ponder over the meaning, and the heart will now be present, because now he is thinking of the meaning, and see what sweetness you will get in your salah. When salah is performed like that, then a person will get the true sweetness of salah. Or ek faida aur hai. He says this is one benefit of it. He says another benefit is this, कि अगर माना अल्फाज के जाने तो सब बुरे कामों से जिनसे नुकसान ईमान का है बचे. The second benefit is this: if you know the meaning of the words, if a person learns the translation of Quran Sharif, the meaning of Quran Sharif, then he says that all those evil acts which cause harm to the iman of a person, because you know the meaning, you understand in Quran Sharif, you will be safe from those evils. For example, a person that lies. Now Quran says, La'natullahi ala al-kadhibin. Allah's la'nat is upon the liars. So the la'nat of Allah is no small thing. The la'nat of Allah is a very great thing. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand this, that the la'nat of Allah means the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala is taken away. When we have problems in our home, in our businesses, whatever problems we have, the actual problem is because the rahmat of Allah has moved away. The rahmat, that is why our Akabir say, make istighfar, make durood sharif, make tawbah. Why? When we will make tawbah, we will read durood sharif, we will now make istighfar. That rahmat of Allah Ta'ala has to come back. When the rahmat of Allah Ta'ala comes back, then all these problems are now removed. So the la'nat of Allah Ta'ala, this is so dangerous. If that la'nat has to strike, person can be paralyzed for life. Allah save us. A la'nat of Allah Ta'ala strikes, a man is driving, worst accident, he'll be finished in that accident. This is the la'nat of Allah Ta'ala. So it's no ordinary thing, it's no small thing, the la'nat of Allah Ta'ala. So a person will read, the la'nat of Allah is on the liars. So he understands that, and a person will stay away. A person, he's reading Quran Sharif. Now he understands the meaning. What's the benefit? Allah says, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُدُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. Now you see, this is a command of Allah Ta'ala. Allah's command that I must lower my gaze. Now a person will become conscious, he'll start lowering his gaze. He's reading Quran Sharif, he understands the meaning. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى ظُلْمًا. That to eat the wealth of orphans, this is oppression. إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. They've eaten the fire of Jahannam in their stomach. Hazrat says that we are eating biryani. You putting with that orphan's money that you usurp, you putting biryani in your stomach. He says that biryani is the fire of Jahannam. Now a person realizes. Now when you know the meaning of the Quran, that all these things that will cause harm to the iman of a person, Allah Ta'ala will protect him from that, he will stay away from that. So that's the second benefit. So one is the heart will become present. Secondly, you stay away from gunas. और मालूम करे कि जो इकरार अपने रब के सामने किया है उसी पर कायम रहे. And he says the third thing, whatever confession you made before Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, now you must stay on that confession. When you were making salah, what we said, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Wallah, I make only your ibadat. And Wallah, only you I seek assistance from. So what you told Allah Ta'ala, what you confess, Wallah, when I have problems, only I'll come to you for my assistance. Now when a person has problems in his life, now he doesn't go anywhere else. Now he only goes to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In his salah, he read, alayhi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul arshil azim. I put my trust on Allah. He is the Rabb of the great arsh. All the khazana, wa in min shayin illa indana khazainu. The treasures of everything is by Allah Ta'ala. The treasures of our wealth is by Allah. Our health is by Allah. Every treasure is by Allah. But Allah Ta'ala says all these treasures, وَمَا نُنَزِّلُهُ إِلَّا بِقَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. In stipulated quantities, in known quantities, we send them down. If Allah Ta'ala had to give us our food, if we're going to live for 60 years, it was written, and 60 years food, Allah Ta'ala gave it to you one time. 60 years water, Allah Ta'ala gave it to us. 60 years medication, where are we going to keep all that? So Allah Ta'ala keeps the treasures by Him, and according to your need and your necessity, Allah Ta'ala sends it down. So in Salah we say, Allah, I put my trust on you. You are the Rabb of the great arsh, where all the khazaina, all the treasures are. So when you said that, now when a person needs something, where is our mind going to go? To some human being, or our trust is going to go back to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala? So he's saying, whatever you read in namaz, that after namaz, remain on that. In namaz we are saying that Allah, sustenance is from you. So when you come out of namaz, our mind shouldn't go anywhere else. Oh Allah, sustenance from you. I need something, I have a difficulty. I'll read 2 rakat namaz and I'll ask from you. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq. We're saying this, but Allah Ta'ala give us the reality of these things. और हर एक तालिब ईमान को लायक है कि हकीकत नमाज की इस तौर पर जाने कि हजरत हक ने मुझको तमाम पैदाइश में बेहतर पैदा करके बड़ी ताकीद से वास्ते हाजिर होने दरबार के 5 वक्त इज़्न मुतलक दिया है. He says for every person of iman, every seeker of iman, it is appropriate that understand namaz in this way. What is the reality of namaz? He says that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, from His entire creation, Allah made me the best. Allah made me insan. Insan is the best creation. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. In the best form, we have created this insan. We have created this human being. So from every makhluk of Allah Ta'ala, the best is insan. So Allah created me in the best form. And then after creating me in the best form, with great emphasis, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has permitted me 5 times a day. He's emphasized and told me 5 times a day that come and present yourself before me, that come and perform salah. So Allah created me the best. And then Allah Ta'ala with emphasis, He has said that come 5 times a day and present yourself before me with general permission. You don't need permission from anyone. Come in the masjid and present yourself. और मुहताज आवर के इज़न का और एहसान मन किसी दरबान या नकीब का नहीं किया. Allah Ta'ala didn't make us in need of somebody's permission at the door. That when we come in, we seek permission. Can I go into the masjid? Allah Ta'ala didn't make us in need of that. Neither did we need anyone's favor. Person wants to reach the president. So much of red tape, and that way he doesn't know whether he'll reach the president or not. So much he has to go through. But Allah, who is King of Kings, no permission. The person can be the poorest of person. He owns absolutely nothing. That person can come right into the first saf and stand right behind the imam also. And if he's worthy of being the imam, he can become the imam also of the masjid. If the imam is not, if he's appointed as the imam, he can be imam. And if he's not appointed as the imam and he's the most knowledgeable person in the congregation, then he can become the imam also. So here, the house of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, we don't need anyone's permission. We don't need anyone's favor. We don't need any connection and any contact. Everyone you can come to the house of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. और गैर हाजिरी पर वादा सख्त अदाब का फरमाया. Not only that, not only Allah Ta'ala said that I made you the best, you come to my house 5 times a day and you don't need anyone's permission. But if you don't come my banda, then I'll punish you also. That now, to that extent Allah Ta'ala wants us to come. Like a father, for example, he decides that in my lifetime, many people ask, they say that in our lifetime we want to give our assets away to our children. Why? Tomorrow when we're not in the world, then we don't want them to fight. So rather we give it away. And the masla of Sharia is permissible, no problem, long as it is equal. When a person gives it in his lifetime, whether boys, girls, there it must be equal amongst all. When a person passes away, then the son gets double and the daughter gets half. But in the lifetime, it must be equal amongst all children. So the father, he told all his children, one Sunday, all of you will come home. He tells them, this Sunday you must come to the house, all my children. And whatever assets I got, I want to now distribute it amongst you. So he wants to distribute it amongst all his children. And because he wants them to come, what he says, if anyone doesn't come, then what I gave you in the past, that also I'll take away from you. Although he doesn't have the right in terms of Sharia, this is just an example for us to understand. He says, what I gave you in the past, that also I'm going to take it away from you. Just like that. Allah Ta'ala is saying, you come to my house. And if you don't come to my house, then I'm going to punish you. How kind Allah Ta'ala is, that Allah Ta'ala wants us to come to His house. और जानना चाहिए कि ऐसी नेमत उज़्मा से महरूम रहना और वादा सख्त अज़ाब का सर पर लेना बड़ी नादानी और कमीनापन है. Now for a person, after Allah Ta'ala going to such extent and calling us to His house, for a person to be deprived of this great ni'mat of Allah Ta'ala, and a person, this severe, the promise of a severe warning, we take it on our head that we prepare to go through this severe adab of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. He says this is our foolishness. This is to show how base a person is. That Allah wants us to come. Allah is, so to say, requesting us to come. And He's saying that I'll punish you. And on top of that, we still want to be deprived. He says this is our foolishness, and this is an indication how low and how base a person is. Allah save us. But इसी तरह अज़मत नमाज की खूब समझकर तमाम आदाब के लाए के कबूलियत बारगाह बादशाह हकीकी के हुए बजा लावे. He says, now understand the reality, the greatness of namaz in this way. And after understanding it, he says that all the adab, all the etiquettes of salah, that will bring your salah to the position of acceptance, when all the etiquettes are fulfilled, all the mustahabbat are fulfilled, all the sunnahs are fulfilled, that will bring the salah to the position of acceptance. He says, when bringing it to the position of acceptance, now adopt and implement all these adabs and all these etiquettes that will bring your salah to a position of acceptance. How? Pehle taharat or pakizgi kare. First go and cleanse yourself. First cleanse yourself. First a person should purify himself. Maulana Abrar Ahmad Sahib Dulyawi rahmatullah alayhi, he used to go into the company of his sheikh, I think it was Qadi Tayyib Sahib rahmatullah alayhi. He used to take ghusl. To take benefit from my sheikh, he used to take a ghusl and then go there. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, when he sat down to write hadith, Imam Bukhari used to first take ghusl and then he sat down to write hadith. Then Allah Ta'ala, look how Allah Ta'ala accepted his kitab in the whole world. That after Kitabullah, the most authentic book of hadith is Sahih al-Bukhari. Whole world. Today you read Bukhari Sharif and a person makes dua to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, makes khatam of Bukhari, and dua is accepted on this occasion. So authentic is the kitab. But what sacrifice they went through, what hardship they went through to write that kitab. So here also, when a person has come in the court of Allah Ta'ala, our taharat also must be proper. Our wudu must be done proper. Yani taharat or pakizi, our Hazrat mentioned the other day, he said that see the difference when we're making wudu and we're talking to somebody. And then make a wudu where you don't talk to anyone from the beginning to the end. Properly make your wudu and read the proper du'as, etc. And then make that wudu and then come read the salah and see the difference in salah. Ulama have written that wudu where water is wasted and you come and read your salah, in that salah a person won't get concentration. And where a person preserves water and then he comes and performs salah, see that. So everything has an effect. Everything, there's a consequence, there's an impact of everything. I was mentioned that when they went by Haji Farooq Sahib rahmatullah one occasion, and one small girl had come to meet Haji Farooq Sahib, she put out her hand. And Hazrat said that she was 2 or 3 years old. Hazrat put his hand on the head. He didn't shake hand. He said, no, this is a salam of a girl. He said, Hazrat, so small. Told Haji Farooq Sahib, so small girl. Yeah, also on the head. He said, that's the salam of a small girl. And then Haji Farooq Sahib said, see, everything has a consequence. He says, a husband and a wife, they in nikah, they have got married, and they in their bedroom. Them to be intimate, sawab for them. They are getting reward in that intimacy of theirs. But a child is in the same room, the baby is in the room. This has an effect on the baby also. Although it's halal, 100% perfect sawab you're getting over here, but it has an effect. So the wudu that is not done properly, then it's going to have an effect on the salah of a person. Pehle taharat or pakizgi kare, yani wudu kare. Or jo hajat nahane ki ho, ghusl kare. And if a person has a need that I have to take a ghusl, then go and take a ghusl and then come for salah. Jaisa ke koi jab badshah ke darbar ke jane ka irada karta hai, pehle hammam karta hai, phir kapra pehen ke jate hai. Like for example, a person he wants to go to a king. When he wants to go to the king, person doesn't just go to the king. First a person he takes a ghusl. And then he cleanses himself. He puts on clean clothes. I'm going in front of the king. This is only the king of dunya. What is the king of dunya? And Allah Ta'ala gave him that position. And he's a king for few days. After few days, he'll be gone from this dunya. Somebody else become the king. Allah is the real king. Allah was always the king, and Allah is the king of all kings. And Allah will always remain the king forever. From ever he was the king of kings, and forever he will be the king of kings. When you're coming to stand in front of Allah Ta'ala, how much more cleaner shouldn't a person be? Apply it, stand in front of Allah, and then see the effect of that salah. Inshallah, we'll watch it. Allah Ta'ala.